Once upon a time, in a small, quiet village nestled between rolling hills and flowing rivers, there lived a young girl named April. The village, though humble, was full of kind-hearted people who cared for one another, and it was here that April had spent her entire life. She lived with her father, a gentle man who worked tirelessly on a modest farm to make ends meet. April's father, though poor, was rich in love and affection for his daughter. He would often tell her, "The greatest wealth in life is love, April. We may not have much, but we have each other, and that is enough." April was a hard-working young girl. From a very young age, she helped her father tend to the farm. She would carry water from the river, plant seeds, and harvest crops. She did it all without complaint, driven by a deep sense of duty to her father and a desire to ease his burdens. Despite their struggles, their lives were filled with warmth and laughter. They had each other, and that was more than enough. When April was just a baby, her mother had disappeared without a trace. The villagers whispered that she left shortly after giving birth, leaving only a note behind. Nobody knew where she had gone or why. April's father never spoke of her, and over time, the pain of her absence faded into the background of their quiet life. All April knew was that her mother was gone, and it had been just her and her father ever since. Her father's love for her was unconditional. He never remarried, choosing instead to focus all his love and care on April. He even quit his job at the factory, deciding to devote himself entirely to raising her. As April grew older, she became her father's confidant, his best friend. They would spend evenings sitting together on the porch, talking about their day, their hopes, and their dreams. For April, her father was everything, a rock in a sea of uncertainty. But one fateful evening while working on the farm, tragedy struck. April's father suddenly collapsed, his body lifeless before she could even reach him. The man who had been the center of her world was gone in an instant. Heartbroken, April couldn't understand how this had happened. One moment they were working side by side, and the next, her world was shattered. In the days that followed, April's grief consumed her. She couldn't bear to be in the house they had shared. The empty chair where her father used to sit, the tools they had used together on the farm, all of it reminded her of the man she had lost. She would often go to his grave, sitting for hours in silence, tears falling from her eyes as she asked, "Why did you leave me so soon, Father? What am I supposed to do without you?" Her heart was heavy, and the loneliness threatened to overwhelm her. For a time, it felt as if the entire world had lost its color. She missed her father terribly, and the thought of living without him seemed impossible. Then one day, while sitting at her father's grave, a young man approached her. He was a stranger, but his eyes were full of understanding. "I'm sorry for your loss," he said gently. "I know the pain of losing someone you love. I lost my own father not long ago." The young man, whose name was Sam, offered his condolences and stayed with April for a while, talking to her. His words were kind, and for the first time in months, April felt a flicker of warmth in her heart. Sam had lost his father, and seeing April's sorrow reminded him of his own pain. Slowly, he became a source of light in her life. Over the next few months, Sam visited April often. They would sit and talk, sharing stories of their lives, their joys, and their sorrows. He cracked jokes to make her smile and told her ancient stories from his family's past, and in time, April began to laugh again. The sorrow in her heart didn't disappear, but Sam's presence brought her comfort and a sense of companionship she had sorely missed. As time passed, their bond deepened. Sam and April grew inseparable. They shared their grief and found healing in each other's company. Eventually, their friendship blossomed into love, and the two were married in a joyous ceremony attended by the entire village. People rejoiced in their happiness, for it was a love born out of shared pain and mutual understanding. Yet, despite their happiness, one desire eluded them. April longed to be a mother. She dreamed of the day she would hold a child in her arms, hearing the sweet cry of a baby echo through the house. But that dream seemed impossible, for no matter how hard they tried, April could not conceive. As the years went by, April grew increasingly desperate. She sought the help of herbalists in neighboring villages, trying every remedy they suggested. Some told her to drink strange potions, while others advised her to take certain herbs. She followed their instructions to the letter, hoping against hope that one of these remedies would work. But nothing did. Her body remained silent, and the child she so desperately wanted never came. Sam was patient and kind, reassuring April that he loved her no matter what. "We have each other," he would say, "and that's all that matters." But deep down, April couldn't shake the feeling that she was letting him down. The whispers of the villagers, those who spoke behind her back about her inability to give Sam a child, grew louder and more painful with each passing day. One night, April had a troubling dream. In it, a young woman who looked exactly like her stole a baby from her arms and ran away. April tried to chase after her, but her legs felt frozen, unable to move. She woke up in a cold sweat, confused and frightened. What could it mean? The next day, while she was out buying food at the market, April returned home to find a strange woman sitting outside her house. When the woman saw her, she rushed forward and embraced her, weeping uncontrollably. Startled and confused, April pulled away and asked who she was. To her shock, the woman revealed herself to be April's mother, the same mother who had abandoned her just after her birth. She had returned, apologizing for the pain she had caused. "I was young and foolish," she explained through her tears. "I was deceived by a man I thought loved me. I never meant to hurt you, April. I love you, and I have come back to make amends." April, torn between rage and longing, listened to her mother's explanation. She had always wondered why her mother had left, and now the answers were finally here. Her mother explained that she had left the village with a man she truly loved, abandoning April and her father in the process. She begged for forgiveness, expressing her deep regret for the years of pain she had caused. April, who had longed for a mother's love all her life, found it in her heart to forgive her mother. They embraced, and April invited her mother to stay with them, believing that her presence might help bring some comfort to the emptiness April felt in her heart. But soon April's longing for a child grew even stronger. One day, her mother told her about a powerful juju man in a nearby village who could help her conceive. "He can give you what you want," her mother said, "but you must go to him. If you don't, Sam might find someone else." April's heart sank at the thought of losing Sam. In her desperation, she decided to visit the juju man, despite Sam's objections. He had heard rumors of the man's dark powers and warned her against going, but April, feeling the weight of her loneliness, ignored his pleas. When she arrived at the juju man's hut, he told her that her inability to conceive was due to Sam's evil nature. He claimed that the only way for her to have a child was to leave her husband. Devastated, April returned home and confronted Sam, but he denied the accusations. He reassured her that he loved her and that nothing could ever change that. But the seed of doubt had been planted in April's mind, and soon, the atmosphere in their home grew tense. Feeling betrayed and isolated, April made the heartbreaking decision to leave Sam. She moved in with her mother, who welcomed her with open arms. Little did she know that her mother was behind the plot to drive her away from her husband. As the months passed, Sam fell into the arms of April's mother, unaware that it was all part of her scheme to take him for herself. Eventually they married, and when April learned of their union, she was devastated. Betrayed by both her husband and her mother, April confronted them. Her mother admitted that she had used her charm to manipulate Sam into marrying her, and Sam, filled with regret, confessed that he had been under her spell. April was heartbroken, not only by her husband's actions but also by her mother's deceit. But life has a way of turning the page when least expected. April's mother, pregnant with Sam's child, died in childbirth. In her final moments, she had a son Sam named after April's late father. With his mother gone and his judgment clear, Sam sought out April, seeking her forgiveness. April, though deeply hurt, chose to forgive Sam. She realized that holding on to anger would only keep her chained to the past. Together, they returned to their village and raised the boy, loving him as their own. Though the child was not born of April, he became the light of their lives, filling their home with joy and laughter. Through this painful journey, April learned an important lesson. True strength and love don't come from others, they come from within. Her journey of healing and forgiveness became an inspiration to the village, and she became a symbol of hope for those struggling with infertility and heartache. Through her pain, she found the strength to rise above it and build a new life full of love and joy. And so, April, Sam, and the boy lived the rest of their lives in peace, cherishing each moment together, proving that even after the darkest storms, the sun can shine once again.